let's unbox this. Well, hi there YouTubers, Jose Quiñones, the CNC dude, opening up my Evolution Saw 380 saw, which I acquired a year ago and finally get to open it. This puppy is heavy, so I'm struggling here a little bit. But the reason I got it was because I have a bunch of welding projects coming up, and I've been looking at people using these guys, and this is just incredible how good it cuts the metal. So I thought, let's give it a try and see if it is as good as they say. And I have to say, the construction is pretty impressive. I mean, it has all of the bells and whistles that you need to cut metal. The reason why I got it was because you can do aluminum as well. So I found that good, because most of what I do is aluminum anyway. But this is a carbide wheel. The one that comes with is steel. So you gotta get a different wheel for different metals. You know, it has all of the cool features that you would expect. And before you throw your box away, as I was about to, make sure you get rid of, you keep all of the items that come with it, especially those brushes. Let's do a first cut here. I'm gonna just cut, I think this is 1/8 square tubing. Of course, plug it in or it's not gonna work, duh. And there is a big warning saying, make sure that you release this button or you're gonna mess up your blade. I can imagine that will be bad. Now, here we go, and I gotta say, I was blown away by how quick that went. Like, I was applying pressure and this thing just practically go out of my hands. Now here is a big mistake that I'm making with a piece of angle iron, and that kickback, that soiled my pants. I thought that I had busted the blade. By the way, this is not the way to do it. That's not how you put the angle, and that angle is probably too big. I actually had to grab the guard with my hands, which is stupid. So now, after compiling the video, I'm realizing that I didn't explain why this was a problem. So I want to go and explain that better. When the angle is in this position, so basically the vertical part is close to the blade cannot go down because the guard collapses. So to start a cut, I literally had to grab the guard with my hand so that it would get there. That is incredibly dangerous, not to mention stupid. This is where also the position where the kickback happened, although I have to say probably the kickback was not caused by this. It was caused because I was applying too much pressure. But I do want to point out, if my hand had been here when the kickback happened, it would have been just stupidly dangerous. Now, maybe you can do that and then turn the blade on in here, but to be honest, the safest way, and we need to look at safety all the times, the safest way is to cut it like this. That way, the blade can do what it's meant to do. In this case, I flip it, and that's probably a better way of doing it. And actually, it is surely a better way of doing it. So here I'm cutting this guy. For this part, I actually have to put a little bit of pressure, and I can feel the machine, you know, it's not going at top speed because obviously it is going. And I have to say, this is a fairly thick piece of angle iron, so this is not thin stuff. And there was obviously, you know, pieces of steel going everywhere. But you'll see in the next shot, the results are impressive. I couldn't believe it. Now, one of the advantages of these saws is that apparently these blades last a long time. It is carbide, so you would imagine it will. They have ratings of, you know, how long it is, how many blades of the other kind you can use per one of these. Look at the finish; it's fantastic. I mean, I can put my finger. Of course, when you put your finger on cut steel, be sure that there's gonna be burrs that can cut you, and I've gotten cut too many times, so that's why I'm going super soft. The tool comes with its own wrench, which is fantastic because I'm always not finding the wrench that I need to change blades. We're gonna look into changing blades soon, so that's good that it comes with the tool that is like right there. And it also comes with this nifty drawer to catch the burrs. But I'm gonna tell you, there's gonna be burrs everywhere. All right, so how about aluminum? I found this blade on Amazon. Actually, when I bought the saw on Amazon, it was basically paired with this blade. So I went ahead and bought both. You know how Amazon is. The trick here is to make sure that you do not exceed the maximum RPM. That's where danger arises. And of course, the machine is like 1500 RPM, I believe, or 14 something. Make sure that you unplug your machine. Man, don't risk it. Now, to change the blade, you're gonna have to remove a screw on the guard, which I'm gonna show you right now. I didn't realize there was a guard, so I was fascinated by this, that there's actually a guard that is like spring loaded, so it just basically comes off by itself. It's very nice, I tell you, this is very, very well made. So the guard comes off, and now you get access to the wheel, and that's where we wanna press that button, where it basically holds the blade in place, and now you can remove the screw. Extremely comfortable to change the blade. It was like so easy. On the other saws that I have had, it's like there's a bunch of things that get in the way, and it's just not as easy as this one. This was incredibly easy. So now I'm putting the aluminum wheel, and there was a little trick to putting it back, but once you figure it out, man, it's so much easy. Just make sure that all of the notches align, that the blade is where it has to be, that this piece, this bushing is aligns with the center. Man, it will go perfect, and in seconds you're gonna have this thing changed. So it is impressive. Now I'm gonna use that attachment that came with the saw to position. I believe this is 2-inch round stock, and what I want to see is how good it cuts aluminum, because most of what I do is aluminum anyway. So I'm gonna measure temperature, because I believe these things are called cold cut, but I'm not buying that. So I measure 73 degrees before. Here I'm going, and it is going fast, but once you get to the center, it is gonna take a while. And in fact, we're just getting started here. I don't know if it is because I was pressing too hard. Maybe if I had allowed the saw to reach its speed, it would have been quicker, but I was basically pressing, so this is the best the saw could do. But still, considering how fast this would have happened with your typical, most of us, what we have is that $200 saw that Harbor Freight has. That is a bandsaw, the vertical horizontal bandsaw that everybody sells it. Okay, Grizzly sells it, Jet sells it. Everybody has that saw, a Northern tool, and it goes for anywhere between $200 and $400 depending on the quality. That would have taken way much more than this to cut that piece of material. So I'm almost done here. 1 minute and 12 seconds is what I believe it took. And when we measure the temperature, though, that thing is hot. You don't want to touch that. Now you're gonna see the big part is like way colder than the small part, and that of course makes sense. That's because the big part is a big heat sink, so all of the heat irradiates away, but the little part does not have much mass, so it is gonna stay hot. So be careful with your drops. If they're small, they're gonna be hot. So this is not a cold cut saw, I don't think. Probably if you had been using coolant, that would have been better. Well, let's do a quick pros and cons with this saw. I'm extremely pleased with the product. It is fantastic. It basically allows you to cut either steel or aluminum. And for thin stuff, it was way quicker than I anticipated. For thick stuff, this is pretty much the best way that I have found so far to cut thick stuff so quick. And when I say so quick is, 1 minute versus 10 or 20. So it's not uber quick. It's not going to be 10 seconds, but it's also not going to be 10 minutes. I like, this is pretty much standard on every saw, even the cheapies. I had not seen this before. This is extremely handy. The fact that you can fit this in and help with your angles or your round stock, that is fantastic. The fact that you can change the blade, and there are blades for steel or aluminum, that's fantastic. All of the little features, like this button here to change your blade, that's probably standard, but this one is like very comfortable. So that actually, I like how they did it. This guy here, where you can basically set it up so that whenever you do a cut, it just stays there, but you can remove it. That's also very nicely done. The guard that was put in place, that is also probably the first time that I see this on one of these tools. And this is probably like my third saw. Actually, if I'm gonna count the wood one, probably my sixth saw of this kind, about like the meter kind of deal. So everything is great in that sense, and I also like the fact that it has the changing tool accessible, so you don't need to go looking for it like happens with pretty much every other tool. So what are the disadvantages? I don't have a lot of disadvantages. I mean, I think this tool is fantastic. Probably the only thing that I was expecting that I didn't get, just because I guess I didn't read enough information about it. But the way in which you change the angle, I somehow was expecting that it was going to be quicker. I thought they had like these settings where you could say 0, 15, 30, 45, and it just goes and stays there. But it is more of a loose the screw and then set it. But this little meter here, I mean, how good is it, right? So it's not perfect. Most likely it isn't. I do like, however, I have to put this as a pro, that it has the actual lever that you can move and lift and rotate. So you don't need another tool to do this. Like on the other ones that I have had before, you needed a wrench to practically loose both screws before you can move this. Kind of annoying in my opinion. But the construction is fantastic. The way that it works, I like it a lot. So I'm extremely pleased with the product. This is a rather expensive product. It's not something, you can buy something similar like to this with the cut-off wheels. You can get it on Harbor Freight for $100. This one is more like, I think it's closer to the 400, and these blades are freaking expensive, but they last a long time, according to what I have read and seen. So probably this will give you many years of operation. On the other saws that I have had, what dies is the switch. I think the switch is just, for whatever reason, doesn't take the heat associated with the high currents. So on those products, what has died was the switch. What is going to happen with this one? I don't know. I mean, I literally just have made 3 cuts with it. So who knows what's going to happen? We'll see. But truly fantastic product. If you're looking for something like this, I recommend it. And I do want to thank you for tuning into my YouTube channel, and I'm going to see you on the next one.